G'day everyone, welcome to Seagulls TV for another team selection video brought to you by Billy's Cakes. We host Frankston this week in round 13 of the VFL, and football manager Chris Dixon joins us to take us all through the action. Chris, a great win against Essendon last week. Is that the best performance for the year by the club, do you think?
I think certainly the third quarter is probably our best quarter. There was a bit of stuff in the first half we weren't too happy with, but overall to beat a quality side like Essendon was a great effort. So probably really pleased with just the even contribution across the board. Pretty much everyone we thought played pretty well. So when you do have sort of 23 guys coming in like that and all doing their role, it's always going to add up to a good team performance.
Now on to this week's clash with Frankston. Wet weather forecasted and high winds as well out there at Burbank Oval. We must be expecting a bit of a tough slog out there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a pretty game of footy, so it is probably going to be real traditional wet weather football. So look, when it's a situation like that, it's obviously back to basics for us and making sure that we're doing all the little things right. So it is probably going to be a tough slog over 4 quarters, so we've got to make sure that we're going in hard and first and loading the ball and making sure that we're the ones sort of setting the scene in that regard. So it is one of our strengths, being contested ball and clearances. So if it is going to be a real wet weather day, we want to make sure that we're playing a wet weather style of football and doing all the little things right.
Now we'll get straight into the team, and as we're looking at it, Peter Fawkes playing his 50th game for the club this week. He's been a great stalwart almost for the club over his time. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, so 2 different stints, I guess. So I had obviously a really good year in 2010 when he came over. It was team of the year, and obviously had that great year where he got drafted to Fremantle. So it was always someone that we were really keen to get back when his time at an AFL club finished. So we were up to bring him back to the club. And even this year, he's gone from strength to strength this year, had a really good pre-season, and his form so far has been absolutely amazing down back there. So 50 games has probably come up pretty quickly for him, considering he's had sort of the 2 different stints with us, but he's a great leader around the place and is someone who really sets the team week in, week out. Like a lot of our players, he's really consistent with his performance. As a key defender, he's really beaten. And certainly this year he's had a great role in really taking extra responsibility in terms of his leadership and his coaching, and certainly he's made players play a bit better around him through that.
And at the other end of the spectrum, we've got Braden Monk, who made his VFL debut as our 23rd man last week. Showed some good signs, and he gets another crack at it this week.
Yeah, he was fantastic, Monkey. So it's always a bit daunting coming in for your first senior game, let alone when you're coming up against the second side like Essendon. But I think he ended up with about 14 possessions, set up a couple of goals, really good smother, a couple of really good tackles. So could be sort of conditions as well on Saturday, which I'm sure he'll really relish. So look, it's just great to really continue that relationship with the Western Jets for a kid like that to come in and get his first taste of senior football. As we know, with the 23rd player rule, it's a great initiative and it's a great chance to really strengthen the links between VFL and Tassie Cup clubs. So looking forward to seeing him in action again.
And a question without notice, we've got the development team who got back on the winners list also. They're playing as the curtain raiser to the senior game. They'll be looking for another strong hit out against Frankston again. Yeah,
I think they were a bit slow to get going last week. I think the 9 o'clock start sort of took a bit of time for them to work into the game. I think they were still waking up, but look, really pleased with the way they finished off that game. I think, can't remember how many they kicked in the last quarter, but they certainly blew them away in the last quarter. So look, it's another good chance for them to keep building that momentum as they look towards finals. But we've seen a lot of players who are there really knocking down the door of senior selection, which is great, and obviously that's what we want at that level. So there's plenty of guys who are really putting their hand up, which is important for us as we move towards the end of the year.
Well, that'll do us once again for another team selection video brought to you by Billy's Cakes. The action gets away on Saturday at 2 o'clock down at Burbank Oval, so do come along and support us as we, as Chris said, get towards the end of the season. But Chris, thanks very much for joining us once again, and best of luck with both games on the weekend.
Cheers.